Greetings, and here we are again on our journey through Romans, and we're up to session 16, and we're in Romans chapter 12, and right at the beginning of the chapter, verse 1. So Romans chapter 12, verse 1, and Paul writes this. He writes, "I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." The problem with a living sacrifice is that it keeps getting off the altar. And that's a phrase that had kind of settled in my mind years and years ago when I first heard it from Pastor Barry in the church back there, 30 odd years ago. The trouble with a living sacrifice is then it keeps getting off the altar. And that's the challenge that we have. You know, it's really easy for us sometimes to make a commitment to say before God and, before one another that we will do this, that we will follow Jesus, that we are prepared to pay the price, that we will, do everything that God desires of us, and nothing will hold us back. And then we get out of bed Monday morning and we're on our way to work and we're already in trouble. We've already forgotten that place of commitment and desire to follow Him, because we're back into the realities of life. And the challenge for us is to actually carry these commands from God, this instruction from Paul, to carry that into every part of our lives. The whole point about a sacrifice is that it dies. The whole point about sacrifice is that you bring it as an act of worship. You kill it, whatever it is, and you put it on the altar. And as it burns, it creates an aroma which is supposed to be pleasing to God. You know, as He smells this, He understands that you are worshipping and that you are sacrificing to Him out of your love and your reverence to Him. The point about a living sacrifice is that it's our self that needs to die in order that Christ can live in us. The point about a living sacrifice is that you and I, day by day, need to put ourselves on the altar and let ourselves die, let ourselves burn up as an act of worship, as an offering to God. And therefore, what is left of us is fully occupied by Jesus and occupied in serving Him and being what He wants us to be. That's a massive challenge, because it's really easy to climb off that altar, and there's nothing that stops us other than our own will and our own commitment to follow and to serve Jesus. So as we get into this today, let's challenge ourselves and let's think about ways in which we can actually encourage one another to keep putting ourselves on that altar, to keep living sacrificial lives that honor God and give God the opportunity to do all the things that He wants to do in us and through us, because our lives are completely yielded up to Him. So I hope you enjoy this session. Have a great time, and I'll be back with you later.